nudge. Endless Banter, episode 69. I think we're all now getting notifications that we are live.
Yep.
So once these fabulous. Oh, fucking hell, Craig. Cheers, mate. Was that a dry hit, mate?
I think I took a bit of a
dry. So I am with fabulous people again. Paul is busy, may pop in a little bit later on. Some other guests might jump in later on, but I am stuck with these three. I'm joking. I love you really, and I do appreciate you coming on. I'm not stuck with you. I love you really. So I'm joined by Craig. Good evening, Craig.
Good evening.
I'm joined by Nikki. Good evening, Nikki, even though your name is Shady Vaping this evening.
Evening. Well, you've got to, like, rep.
That's it. And good evening to the ever so beautiful, lovely Pixie. Good evening, Pixie.
Oh, waiting. Good evening.
So, everyone, how's your week been? What you been doing? What you have for tea? What you vaping? We'll start with you, Pixie.
Vaping on my EDC, as we now call it. I didn't know that till last week. And some Dr. Bates blue stuff. I've been ill, so I've not been at the gym. And I had sausage, beans, and homemade hash browns for tea. There you go.
Nice.
And my other thing at the moment has been Pokemon card hunting, but that's not very interesting.
There's been a massive influx of Pokemon cards being sold on Facebook recently. Massive influx. I've seen it all over.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to Pound class today?
No, I've not been at the gym because my lungs have been swelled out because I've had a cold. So I've had a couple of days off. But we'll be back at it next week. I'm back to the pink.
Best decision. Take a few days off. Chill out.
Aye.
Nikki, what you have for tea? Don't tell me the same because I know you're lying. What you vaping? And can we possibly see you tonight, or are you just going to cloud out?
I've had fuck all for my tea because it's too early to eat yet. I'm on Patina Clean with Dr. Bates new sour. But that's fine.
And have you been on a bike ride this week?
No, I went to pick up a parcel today. That's about it.
What's your average mileage a week on the bike?
70 plus miles.
Mate, I did 4 miles on a bike yesterday in the gym, mate, and I felt it. I felt it.
Me less than 10 minutes.
I did 4 miles, mate, in 20 minutes, mate. I was fucking going for it, and I felt it, and I was like, I don't know how Nicky does like an average of like 40 miles a session when he goes out, and I'm doing 4 and I'm feeling it. Does your backside not absolutely murder you?
No.
Do you have like a spongy seat? Do you have a spongy seat?
No. I've got an enduro seat, so it's memory foam and gel.
Oh, living the dream, man. That's why I can't ride bikes, mate, because I've got a big chunky ass, mate. So I can't ride bikes.
If you go to, I think it's Lidl, they've got heated seats that you plug in, you charge them up, and they will keep your ass warm in the winter.
Yeah, we were laughing at them today.
I'm not bothered about having a warm ass. I'm more bothered having a comfy ass.
Well, they are quite big and padded as well.
As you can imagine, I'm not a small guy. I've got quite a chunky wide butt, so it kind of hurts. But I've got a bony butt, so I don't know how you honestly do that many miles, mate, on your ass. You must have bike seat sores. That's all I'm saying.
Safely say I can go out. I'll do 40 odd mile and then come back, walk the dogs, go shopping or whatever I need to do. Don't bother me.
Mate, you've got a good one. You definitely. You can either, for me personally, you can either ride a bike or you can't ride a bike, and I'm one of these who can't. I can ride a bike, but I just don't feel comfortable on a bike. Tom, buy a Brooks saddle then. What's a Brooks saddle, Nicky?
The old school wide ones.
Cheers. Thanks. So, Craig, how's your week been? What you vaping? And what you have for tea?
I've had my tea, chicken, potatoes, beans, and I'm vaping my dirtier and some strawberry milkshake But I couldn't tell you where it's from because the label's all gone. And my week's not been too bad, really.
I saw you put a picture up when you was working. Was it this week or last week? It was a truck dumping some stuff off.
Yeah, it must be Dad going up cleaning like one of the things. I don't like heights. I'm a fucking shitbag. I will, because they said to me, "You're going to go up there." I said, "I'm off." Fuck. I said, "I'd rather stick needles on my eyes and go up there." He went up there and he's going, "Oh, come on, the view's wicked." I don't care. Fucking hate heights. Simple as that.
No, I 100% understand that because I'm absolutely petrified of heights. That is one of my pet peeves is heights.
I will sit in the corner and stick my thumb if I have to go up high.
If you ask Paul, when we went to Germany earlier on in the year, when we were sat in the plane, I was sat at the window seat and I had the shutter down all the way and I wouldn't even look at Paul. I was like, fuck that, I'm not doing it. But then after a while, you get sort of peeking in that. But it's absolutely petrifying me, so I understand that 100%.
No, I won't even go on a plane. Sod that. No.
So let's get into some light-hearted. Let's not do the news first. We'll get into some light-hearted stuff. So this week, well, was it today? I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? The Vapor Expo announces London Expo in February.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
What's your opinions? And do we think it's going to be a success? Go on, Craig.
It's closer for me because I'm not that far away from Birmingham. So yeah, it'll be a bit closer for me. And I personally, I think it will be better because I've never been to Jam, but things I've been hearing about Jam, people saying it's not the best.
But what would change the show being in London to Jam? Do you know what I mean? You're gonna attract the same crowd that's going to Jam.
Well, it might be people.
But is it different people that do Jam to Expo?
Yes.
Right, so they may organise it more, so it's more tailored to be like the actual Expo we love and know, rather than people that go to Jam. It might be just more of an attraction for that reason, because we all absolutely love going to Expo because it's Expo.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just wish it was getting closer to me.
Yeah, that's the only thing. London and Birmingham are really not that far apart. If you think we have to travel from where we are to where you are to do the one we are, it's still not really that much closer to go to London than Birmingham.
Yeah, see, for me, it's only, I think, 2 train rides to London. So it's a little bit closer for me. For instance, for Birmingham, I have to get 2 trains.
It's 2 hours from obviously you guys fly, don't you, majority of the time. For me, I obviously drive to Birmingham. It's 2 hours to Birmingham, and it's about 3.5 hours to London from me. And I'd obviously drive it.
But on the other hand, right, I can see it being okay for the people in London and the surrounding area. I can't see people traveling from everywhere like they do for the expos in Birmingham, because Birmingham's quite the central location.
Yeah.
And I think it'll put a lot of vendors off going, because 3 shows when there's already 2 big shows that everyone kind of says, right, we're doing Expo.
Yeah, but they haven't announced that they're doing another show after October, have they, in Birmingham? So is this maybe replacing a May show?
No, they've already said. If you read the post, they've said that it's not going to cancel out the 2 shows in Birmingham. They're still going to be there.
They're still doing it. Like Shaka said in chat, he says, no one wants to pay London prices to stay in hotels. Plus, Birmingham is in the middle of everywhere.
It is.
And if you look at it this way, right? Birmingham, you get ripped off at £5 a fucking pint. You go to London, it's going to be 20 quid a pint. So,
actually, or Birmingham, you spend 35 quid at a bar altogether.
Yeah, but you still pay a £5 a pint. No one's going to pay £20 to have a pint at wherever they have it.
I do wonder though, having another expo, is it just going to be the same experience, or is it going to be a different experience?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
And is there really any point in having 3 instead of having 2? I like the way that we have the 2 because they're nicely spaced out as well.
Yeah.
May and October, you know exactly, and it gives you some. Those parts of the year tend to be when a lot of people have a bit of free time as well, which is quite handy. So they work out quite well. I'm really not sure why we need one in February, but maybe that's just me.
Well, maybe they're going to, maybe Vapor Expo are going to line it up, because what I've been hearing about Jam, people saying it isn't the best. It's not good as Expo, so they're going there just to get people's attention, spice it up a little bit.
But there's a jam. There's a jam in Liverpool. In Liverpool, there's one in Liverpool in like a week before Expo.
But also, Vape Jam in London is more business orientated rather than the consumer.
Yes,
from what I've heard,
definitely, yeah, 100%.
It's more like everyone that's got a business getting together, chatting and sorting out business in a mutual location rather than the hecticness of Expo for everyone else.
Dave said, sorry, Nicky, carry on.
I think Jam's only open one day to the public.
Yeah, I think they did the Friday. No, I think they do Thursday, Friday, then Saturday, Sunday. Do they do 4 days or they do 2 days?
I can't remember. I know it's like mainly B2B. So in that aspect, people are going to say it's shit compared to Expo. But if you look at the overall of it, it's there for the businesses to have somewhere that they can relax and take 5 minutes out and do business rather than a show for everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Dave said London Expo is going to bring some of the big Americans across. Well, mod-wise, it will not just juice now. But with the way that America's going, I feel like a lot of them are going to start more branching out into Europe, which is going to give obviously like London, Birmingham, the STEM shows are going to get more of a reach now from the Americans because of the state of America currently.
Yeah.
That's their sort of only outreach really is the rest of the world. They've sort of the way that America's going.
Well, if you look at what's literally happening in America, I can see the American like juice manufacturers saying, "Fuck it, we'll go over there, we'll sell off everything we've got." It's really the only place that we can sell it.
Yeah.
If shit goes down.
Because like this is the thing, right? So this is where it comes to where I'm questioning it, because you've obviously got an expo in London. There's a lot of deals go off in the expos, and obviously people can purchase juice a little bit cheaper at a discounted price. Neil Pugsley says in London, 100ml short fill costs me £25 with one nick shot. Second nick shot was £5 extra, so that's 30 quid for 100ml bottle of juice, right? Which in the times in the past has been reasonable, but in these day and age it's not reasonable. So does that not to you feel like the London crowd will be more attracted to go to an expo and maybe get a discounted price?
But will they, or will they look at the market from the shops as well and say, right, we can charge this and just hike the price up even more, which, okay, it's going to make the juice market better because it'll bring the prices back up. So there's not all of these one pop companies popping up overnight, pumping out loads of juice and that's it. But on the other hand, is it really going to be people from London going?
That's the thing. Like Craig said, he's obviously in that sort of area, so that's more attractive to him than Birmingham is. So then does that then put a different outreach to a different crowd to go to London, and then you get your same people who go to Birmingham every year carry on going to Birmingham? So are you attracting a total different new crowd, or are you appealing to everybody that already knows about Expo in Birmingham? It's a bit like sort of like reaching out and trying to get a different audience, which. Did Jam ever do that? Because obviously what we've discussed, a lot of people didn't like Jam, people didn't get on with Jam, people didn't attend Jam because whenever there was social media stuff, it was always negative. So are they sort of maybe going into it trying to aim at a new market? Because that's possibly what the guys could be doing. The same way Jam's going to Liverpool to put on a show, to go more north.
It sounds like to me Jam's just trying to be like Expo, aren't they? Trying to reach out like Expo, be big as them, in my opinion.
Well, I feel like there's enough room for more than just the two shows. Definitely feel like there's more room than 2 shows, but it's whether people are willing to sort of, because 2 shows in the UK, well, 3 classing as Jam, and then obviously you had Manchester. So at max, we're having 4 shows a year in the UK. 4 or 5. Vape Fest, yeah. So 5 maximum in a year. You're looking at 5 shows, maximum 5 shows, right? Then you look at America, because America's so big. they have a show every weekend. Still have a show every weekend. There's 52 shows a year in America. And they have maybe have one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. Do you know what I mean? And one every weekend. That, to me, is oversaturating. Even though the size of the country, it's still oversaturating. So
Kicked out.
But I think with
Banter,
it's more than adequate for the UK.
Yeah.
Because if you look at people that go, everyone treats Expo as a break or a holiday more than like 90% of people, because it's one time a year or 2 times a day that they've got extra money that they can buy what they want if they see something, and they get to go, and it's just a big vape meet. So they get to see the films and everything else, and they get to socialize with people that they speak to on a daily basis over the internet.
Or people go there when they have arguments on Facebook. I'm going to take you outside the Expo car park. Come on, then.
I just feel that maybe, because obviously people are saying here, people are always going to Ian said people are always going to compare the new Expo to Jam, thinking it's going to be dead, small, and pointless and expensive. I get what you're saying. I feel like it needs to be given a go to see the reaction, and then sort of people make their minds up. I think people take too much of a self-decision off social media and say it's not really worth doing because everyone's now saying on social media it's crap. Well, that one person says it, and everyone sort of jumps on it and like, yeah, no need to go, I need to spend money because somebody else said shit. But the minute you get a positive feedback, people are still going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to go because it's too far or whatever.
Yeah, you're going to get people like that saying, oh, I can't get there because it's too far. Well, end of the day, charger. End of the day, it's just simple, isn't it? If you want to go, go. If you don't go and say, oh, I ain't going to go because it's shit. Well, just don't go. But I think it's going to be good. Give it a go. Simple, isn't it? Just give it a chance.
I think people go to especially Birmingham Expos for different reasons. Like a lot of people are saying in chat, I saw Jimmy say it, saying that he necessarily doesn't go to the shows for what he can get. He goes for the people. You know what I mean? Goes for the actual weekend of getting away, going out with a few friends, having a few beers, getting to see people you don't see every year. You know, all the time. You know what I mean, I think it depends what's the reason you go to an expo for. You know, at the end of the day, on a business scale of things, it's got to be worth it. Do you know what I mean? For businesses.
Exactly.
Sorry, Nick.
It's all right, Craig.
No, just saying that.
No, I only give it just to have a laugh, meet people and stuff like that. I'm not there for like see what I can get my hands on for free, go around vendors and get stuff for free. I ain't for that. End of the day, I'll just go there, have a joke and laugh with people, and maybe do a little giveaway out of my own pocket from my own group to just say thank you to people.
No, I get you 100%. It's just definitely what people go for and whether they're going to give stuff a chance. And if they give stuff a chance, do you know what I mean? Let's get. We got someone waiting in the chat. If you can hear us, whoever's waiting to come in, can you turn your phone that way? Landscape.
Lanyard.
Right, let's bring someone in.
Let's bring in
Keith. What's going on, Keith?
Good, mate. I'm good. I've had to fucking use my mobile phone because my son's nicked my laptop again.
No stress, mate. So, if you've been listening to us, what's your thoughts on the show being in London, the Birmingham show?
Say again, buddy.
What's your opinion on the Birmingham show being the Expo show being brought to London? If you've seen it,
mate, tell you the truth, mate, I've not even been on my phone all bleeding day. I'm not, mate. Sorry.
Oh, wait, there's been an announcement that Vapor Expo are going to be doing a show in February in London.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So from your first knowing of this, the first knowledge, what's your thoughts on it straight away?
I've been to the London show. It's something I would like to go to. I've heard that there's like quite a lot of exhibitors there. So tell you the truth, mate, I would like to go to it. But will it be the same as Birmingham? Will it attract as many people as Birmingham does? Me myself, I don't think so.
As I've said to everybody else, do you feel like they're trying to reach another market? a different.
Oh yeah,
market
definitely.
you go to.
Definitely, because obviously, like in London, there's a lot more high-end shops. So obviously, yeah, they are trying to reach the high-end market with that. Yeah, definitely. But I can't see it being as good as Birmingham.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I am happy about seeing in Birmingham is the Modders Gallery.
Yeah,
They've
definitely.
got a big Modders Gallery this year,
Yeah.
which is huge. And they've also got a theatre. I don't know if any of you have seen it as well. It says theatre on the floor plan. It's actually an advocacy stage. So there's going to be a lot of advocacy stuff on there, and that will be the stage we'll be hopefully using it for the CloudCon. So we'll have a full stage. So fingers up there. So yeah, I think they're trying to, because obviously I know that the guys at Expo have had a lot of collaboration with the German Expo, and they've obviously traded a little bit of ideas and stuff. And to have a big advocacy stage is huge, because we've not had that in a few years, really, have we?
To be fair, no, you don't really hear much about advocacy anymore. It seems to have been like whitewashed a bit. But I think we all need to start promoting it a bit more rather than just ignoring it like it's not there. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, we're all in it for the same reasons: quit smoking and fucking better our health, kind of, if you can say that.
Enjoy it.
But
I feel like the stage time predominantly, obviously with advocacy over here, we've got our regulations, and our regulations don't seem to be changing in any shape or form. Well, advocacy in America, fuck me, they need that right now, because the vaping scene is fucking like this all the time.
Well, I see for Birmingham, going to London, I think we're going to get a lot more people from the States coming over to London to get their flavours and stuff, because they're banned flavours, aren't they, in America now? So I see a lot more of Americans coming over to the London Expo to come and get their flavours and stuff like that and take it back with them.
What they've said is by May 2020, I think it was, that they want it all to change.
So I think we're going to get a lot more of the States people coming over here to get their flavours if they do change it in 2020.
It's
Because obviously
just,
limited now to 3 flavours.
yeah, that's what they want it, don't they? They want it menthol, tobacco, and unflavoured.
the thing is, though, even if they do ban it, what's stopping them driving over to Mexico, getting concentrates and driving back?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Well,
even if they're just consumers and they come to visit to pick up things like flavours, how do we know they're going to get back over with them?
That's exactly it. But then you look at Australia. Australia has banned nicotine, and it's been banned for fucking ages. But they still have 70. They're on their stats. There's 75,000 vapors. That's what they say. 75,000 vapors in Australia. We know how big Australia is. We know for a fact there's more vapors than that. But the stats are there because they're illegally importing their e-liquid. They're illegally bringing in nicotine, because that's the only way they can get nicotine in Australia, because nicotine is outright banned. But they can buy fucking cigs. They can happily buy cigs, but you can't buy nicotine in a raw form.
It's ridiculous.
He's fucking daft. It is 100% daft.
No, they're just pressing the nicotine out of the tomatoes. That's all they're doing.
They're all growing tomatoes and fucking eggplants in the back gardens and squeezing all the nick out. It's fucking absolutely mental. So let's go on to showing a video.
Oh, can I just ask Keith, how did his tattoo go?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolute bloody agony. It only stood an hour and a half.
Shite bag.
Where did you get tattooed?
In a bit of the arm on the bend. Mate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Try your ass.
Say again.
Don't you start with your ass. Don't you start with your ass, I'm telling you. Never ask about Craig's ass.
No, I don't want my arse tattooed.
Try your ass. What a lad. Just try your ass, lad. Just try your ass. Legend.
Right, you might have to go to Expo.
Right, let's get into this video. chat. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can
can see
see.
the loading icon.
Let me stop sharing for a moment and make sure I've got audio on.
Make sure you mute your porn.
Got any porn, mate?
All right, then just mute the Pornhub tab.
That's on the hard drive, as Keith said.
Yeah.
You ain't that midget porn.
Great.
Right, let's watch this video.
What are you doing? Man?
Can you see the video?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've often thought of vaping and cigarettes, but there are fresh warnings this week about the potential dangers of vaping. It follows a third death overnight in the United States from a severe lung disease believed to be caused by the e-cigarettes.
Now, Colin Mendelson is a tobacco treatment specialist at the Australian Tobacco Harm Reduction Association. I'm happy to say he joined us here in the studio. Colin, talk us through, firstly, vaping. What is it and how is it different to smoking a regular cigarette?
Right. So vaping's a far safer alternative to smoking. It's used by smokers who just simply can't quit, so it's an option for them. It basically involves heating a liquid solution into a vapor, a liquid solution of nicotine, which is inhaled and exhaled as a visible mist, but without the tar and carbon monoxide that cause most of the health problems of smoking. So it delivers the nicotine that people are addicted to, but without most of the chemicals that cause most of the harm to health.
So this week we have seen this range of deaths in the United States. They're still all being investigated, but the common factor is all of these people, young, otherwise healthy people, were vapors. So we say it's safer than cigarettes. What is the problem here?
Look, I think we need to distinguish the process of vaping, which is aerosolizing a liquid into a vapor, from what you're actually using, the drug you're using. If you're doing it with nicotine purchased from an approved supplier, which is regulated or reputable, the risk is very small. What's happening in these cases is that the people using these devices are actually using illicit drugs. And what the FDA has now found is that almost all the cases are linked to inhaled THC or cannabis oil. And the recent outbreak is because there's a different production method of these oils. They're adding vitamin E oil. And when you add oil to an inhaled aerosol, it's very dangerous. We know oil causes a serious lung inflammation, and that seems to be what's happening.
So vaping is something that's been around for many years, but it really sort of took off in the last maybe perhaps 10 years, I would say.
That's about right.
What's some of the information now that we're seeing these deaths? What's the information that you think really needs to go out to people that do vape?
Yeah, look, I think the important thing is to understand that these deaths from the US are not related to nicotine vaping. So they've been caused by people breathing in a toxic chemical with oils, and we certainly don't recommend that. So we know that vaping nicotine is not risk-free. Nothing's as good as fresh air, and nothing's risk-free. But the Royal College of Physicians in the UK, Public Health England, have reviewed comprehensively the literature and have found that, concluded that vaping nicotine is at least 95% safer over the long term than smoking cigarettes.
Can you legally get it here in Australia for vaping?
In Australia, there's a de facto ban on nicotine. We're the only Western country, the Western democracy in the world that bans the sale and use of nicotine. Vaping is the most popular quitting method in the world and arguably the most effective. But we have about 250,000 vapers in Australia, and unfortunately we're putting people in the choice of either being criminals or running the risk of a 2 in 3 death from smoking. And we shouldn't be putting people in that position.
No, certainly not. It seems that there seems to be a lot more information that needs to go out about it all,
There
doesn't there?
does,
Yeah, Colin. All right. Thank you.
There you go. What's your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Right. Before, when I started vaping 2.5 years ago, that kind of thing wasn't even a knowledgeable item because it didn't exist. So as far as I was aware, it might not have. Oh, Tommy's busy.
No, carry on.
Sorry. When I started vaping and Nick started vaping before me, there was never anything like that that would have existed that I'm aware of. It's only since they've been in existence that there's an issue. So people who've been vapers as long as me, long as you, everyone else, we're fine because we don't touch stuff like that. Maybe it's only a problem because it's new, because it's something that's now there. They're going to blame it on us, even though it wasn't there when we started. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. I feel like they've put, as we said last week or a week before, we were saying about how can we get them to stop putting it under the bracket of vaping when technically it is vaping. It's just what they're vaping. So why aren't they saying it's
Right.
it's the drug paraphernalia that they're using? They're not using nicotine. They're using something else that's put into an e-cigarette that can be vaped exactly the same as using nicotine can. So they've sort of come to the conclusion now that it ain't nicotine. It's something totally fucking different.
Yeah, but see, like they're saying about deaths and stuff like that. We've got a lad at work said to me today because I was vaping. He goes, "Oh yeah, you do know you can vape weed in that?" I was like, "Oh, can you?" Yeah. My mate does it, makes it. I was like, well, "That's a load of bollocks because you are talking about your ass. So if you're doing shit like that, you're a fucking idiot." And so what? So then you're just giving all us vapers a bad name for doing that. I said, I use vaping for a reason, to give up smoking, not to fucking give it a bad name.
I don't like the scaremongering that's coming along with whatever's happening with these carts and whatever's happening to these people. It's a bit like today we came out of, I think it was TK Maxx, went down a side alley to go to the main street, and there was two ladies, and one of them had a Legend with like a Preco tank on top, and she was just vaping, nothing unusual, and I could hear her talking to a friend, and she was saying, there's been an actual article go on, and like British vapers are safe, and I'm like, it's not some bloody worldwide casualty. As far as I'm aware, the things that are going in America, whatever they're using, they're not available here. I don't, I don't think people should presume because you've got a vape, you're going to be then unsafe.
It's what they're putting in it. So obviously people are producing these either whether it's they're doing it themselves. As I stated last week, I was saying I watched a video of somebody actually making e-liquid THC in it, which whatever, by the by, whatever. But what they're doing is they're actually making THC oil, and the stuff they're putting in it, and I believe it's vitamin E oil, is what's giving the issues when they're obviously vaping it, because obviously no oil should really be vaped on your chest because that's what's giving it the issues. Do you know what I mean? That is,
and the butane gas that they use to create the THC e-liquid.
And obviously it's literally like putting fucking diesel in a fucking 2 mil pod and going, here, vape that.
Yeah.
But
you're gonna get sick.
There was an article where a certain company, I'm not going to say the name, has literally failed to pass the test in America 3 times, and they predominantly sell THC cartridges, and you can get them in the UK. You can buy them at pretty much quite a lot of places. I've seen them for sale in the UK.
THC cartridges or CBD cartridges?
THC. I've seen them for sale on a yeah.
People do offer it, and I'm not saying all or any vape shops do it, but I've heard of THC cartridges being sold under the counter in vape shops and stuff like that. Obviously, we know THC is fucking illegal in the UK. We know it is. It's a Class B drug. And if you want to smoke weed, go ahead and smoke fucking weed. Obviously, these products that are getting produced by black market producers are fucking incredibly wrong. That's why it's doing this to people. But the main thing that really messes me up is vaping's been a big platform for the last 7 to 10 years, and we've had these people die from vaping. 5 people have died from vaping in the US, or 6 died in the US. There's over 400,000 people die worldwide from fucking smoking every day. Yet they don't want to say fuck all about that.
Because they're making too much money off it.
It's fucking...
America's going to scaremonger the fuck out of it to get people off vaping and back on smoking, for the simple reason is they're losing out on too much money.
Yeah.
There is literally places like states that are in debt that they can't pay because they've lost out on so much money.
That's Well, that's the same over here, though, isn't it? Like on the black market, people are getting into this black market, making e-liquids, going, oh, I bet I can make a bit of money doing it like that. Don't actually realise is that you've got to do the proper procedures, what shops have to do, making e-liquid and stuff like that. They're not doing it like that. Basically doing bathtub liquids, and they're selling it cheaper than the shops and stuff like that. That's probably what's happening in America.
Well, I watched a video, and it showed you basically people were buying basically like C4s from China with a manufactured name on it, and you could buy the boxing, you could buy the box, you could buy all the leaflets that goes in it, the carton, and you literally just fill it. And people were buying these from China and selling them as reputable products, but obviously they were just full of THC.
Yeah, there you go. It's people on the black market thinking they're going to make us a quick bit of money doing it like that, but then it just gives the industry, people who are doing it generally, a bad name. And all this, it's giving them all a bad name where they're doing it properly in the clean room and everything like that, making it, and then people are doing it in their own homes on their kitchen tables.
Well, you obviously got like Trump now has just come out with a statement like an hour and a half ago, basically stating that obviously there's stuff going on, and he basically says there's a new thing called vaping. I won't play the video because I just want to smash my screen when I watch it. It's basically him saying it's vaping. It's a new thing called vaping. It's killed people. We need to regulate it. I want to ban on obviously all flavors apart from And to me, who that affects is though that doesn't necessarily just affects us, but that also means that Donald Trump is obviously the biggest worldwide. If he's on the news, it's worldwide. Whoever he says he's picked his ass, at an apple, it's on the fucking news worldwide. So now he's come out with that statement. Everyone worldwide who has no idea of vaping has just heard it from fucking Donald Trump and now going, what the fuck's he talking about? And they start researching, looking up all these deaths, not having a clue what it's about, and it fucks the rest of us.
Yeah, well, for me, for vaping, him saying ban flavours, well, for me, when I give up vaping, my first flavour, what helped me give up was strawberry cheesecake. 6 milligram, it helped me give up. And then that's where my path come along doing it like that. And I love my flavours vaping. I've tried tobacco flavours. Personally, I didn't like it. But flavours ones for me, I do like them. And I do like my flavours. And it's just, I think he's just talking out of his ass. Because how do them devs, no offence, don't take it the wrong way, but how these devs, do they actually know it's from shops when they've done it? Or could they have gone and bought it from someone else, like, really cheaply?
The current defs, as far as we know, have got nothing to do with whatever flavour is in a cartridge to do with the chemicals in a cartridge. Yeah. So I don't, unless, for me personally, he would need to provide evidence of why this flavour ban needs to be done, because he's in that bit we watched. It's to do with deaths. Those flavours have got nothing to do with these people dying.
But how does the CDC come out with the fact is that it's not to do with nicotine vaping, and then Trump comes out with a statement today? That's what I'm saying. The CDC America.
You're telling me Donald Trump's not got his hand in the fucking big tobacco company's pocket?
Yeah.
Man's a businessman.
Exactly, he's a businessman, so he's going to be, yes, thinking with his head, but he's going to be thinking about fucking money more than anything, to be fair.
Yeah. He's thinking, am I going to stay as president next election? So I'll do this, it might help me.
Dave said here, yeah, but to be fair, most of the world know Donald Trump is a fucking mong who chats shit all day.
Round of applause for Dave, mate, I tell you. You know.
Right. And then Nick says here, talking about what Craig said, Nick Bradley Sutton says, might as well smoke if you're going to vape tobacco. Well, one of my questions on my sheet is why is tobacco e-liquid always overlooked? Why do we always go from we've all smoked, we've all tasted that dirty burning paper tobacco taste?
Yeah.
Why do we always overlook a tobacco flavour? Is it placebo, or is it the factors that because if you was offered tobacco and you had to vape a tobacco, there's plenty of tobaccos on the market that are decent tobaccos, But why did we overlook them when we're trying to replicate a fag?
Because, right, and this happened probably the first 6 months of me vaping to now, is all my friends and my children told me how nice I smell now. I don't smell like that anymore. I think in my head, if I don't smell like a smoker, I'm not a smoker.
Is it? See,
And
question.
if I vape tobacco, I'd feel like I smell like.
Yeah, but
I used to smell
tobacco
like-
vape tastes nothing like a cigarette. We know
I
that
know.
by trying it.
See, I don't know if for you guys, like when someone's had a fag and stuff like that, you can smell it on them and everything like that. And I used to hate the smell like on my clothes and everything like that. Now with vaping, like Pete said, I love the smell of it on me. And like for instance, Swarmy's milkshake, I can smell it in here tonight. It's lovely. It's a lovely smell. Not smelling sitting on your kitchen table and everything like that, or worrying about if you put your fag out when you've finished or gone to bed.
To be fair, I've tried a fair few tobaccos and there is quite a few nice ones out there. I'll quite happily buy them and vape them. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, if I'm in the mood for a tobacco, I'll vape a tobacco. If I'm in the mood for a flavour, I'll vape that flavour. I'd much rather try the tobaccos and say, yeah, that's a good one, because there is people out there that just vapes tobacco.
Yeah.
I know a few people who vape unflavoured as well.
Exactly, rather than just saying, oh, what you vaping that shit for? Try this fucking gobstopper fucking screwball shit. But
I'll be back in a minute.
Do you feel? Go on,
for me, sorry. Just personally for me, tobacco juice, I just don't like it. I just personally don't like it. I tried it, I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. I just prefer my flavours.
Do you feel like
your preference?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Do you feel it sort of? Have we made it so accessible with obviously the different marks of flavors there is out there? You know what I mean? Like I can only imagine how much more flavors they have, because obviously a lot of e-liquid now that's sold in the UK is British made, which is fucking brilliant. There's still obviously American brands, but a lot of it is British made, which is because at a point there was no British manufacturers and it was all American juice imports. So it's amazing to see British manufacturing at the top of its game right now with e-liquid. But do you feel like we've been given such a select amount of different e-liquid that people are sort of like going, oh, we'll just go for sweet flavors, or we'll go for dessert. We don't really need tobacco or unflavored or all that. We'll just go for what, because we've got it.
For me, I do like some of my fruits, but I prefer my dessert flavours. I personally like my desserts more, but I'll happily vape fruit flavours and stuff like that. I'm happily do it. But yeah, I do say there is some nice American brand e-juices. I mean, Flawless. I've tried theirs before. That's nice. That is some really nice stuff. But personally for me, I do like the British flavours. I like my favourite flavours have got to be custard. And the best custard I've tried so far is Birmingham Fog, custard chucker. That is one of the best ones I've tried so far.
Do you both feel like, and I'm going to put this question to chat as well, and Pixie's back as well, if we were at the stage in the UK where they said you can have menthol tobacco or menthol tobacco unflavoured, would you go back to smoking, or would you just say, right, I'll just do that instead?
To be fair, I'd say at the end of the day, you've got options there, so fucking why not try it on them 3 that you've got out of the choices? See if there's anything that is palatable for yourself, rather than just saying, nah, fuck it, I'll go back to smoking.
I agree there.
For so long.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. Yeah, I'd probably say, yeah, give it a go and try it. Yeah.
If you for so long, you're only going to do more damage by reverting back to smoking, and fucking it's going to be fucking drain on your wallet as well.
Exactly, yeah. And I think I'll say then.
If you pick up a bottle of fucking tobacco that you actually like, because you can get tobacco vanilla or vanilla tobacco that's quite nice and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, instead of vanilla and then the tobacco.
That's if they allowed it. You know, they might only allow a straight tobacco.
Then the other question is, if you was only given them 3 options to vape, when you also had the option of going down the black market and able to get the flavours you vape before through a black market, would you go for a black market? Question being, you have no idea where these flavors have come from, who's manufactured them, or anything like that. You've literally just got. So somewhat you can get a custard, you can get this, you can get that. Would you go down the black market route? And I'm asking this to chat as well, or would you actually say, right, we've got these options, we'll have to stick with these options? Because I know a few people out there would say, I'm going black market.
No. I'd rather just do menthol and stick with it that way if I had to.
Reason being, why you
when
wouldn't
the shit was announced, then stock up on concentrates and just buy unflavored. Job done.
Yeah, possibly could do that. But how long are we going to stock up for? We don't know when it's ever going to change. We're in such a predicament where we don't know what's the next route is. When do we know? Do we just stockpile now? Do we start saying, fuck it, let's buy out? Because a lot of people bought nicotine before. They said they were going to ban 72 milligram nicotine. And it's still banned that you can't buy 72 milligram nicotine, but you can still buy it. But I know a fair few people who had freezers full of fucking 72 milligram nicotine.
Exactly. At the end of the day, there's going to be people that do both ways. There's going to be the people that say, I'm not going to chance it because I don't know what they're putting in it. I don't know how it's been mixed, all that crap. Because no one wants to find in the bottle of juice. That's not nice for anyone. And then there's going to be people that say, you know what? I've been going to this shop so long. I've supported them since then, so I'll just carry on supporting them.
Yeah. But what is this? So what would you class is a safe vape? So this is down to the actual device, down to e-liquid, down to cotton, down to coils. You know, when you say to someone safe, we know anything we inhale is not good for us, but we're living on the stats that 95% safer than traditional tobacco. But if anyone was to say to you, what would you class as safe? What would your answers be, Nikki? What is safe? Can we answer the question?
A user has got as much information as he needs or they need to be confident in themselves and the facts that they've got to make the correct decision. Because at the end of the day, nothing is safe. You can give someone a regulated mod and they can burn it. Yeah. So there's no device that's technically 100% safe.
So we're all going to live on the stat of 95% safer. We're always going to live on that stat.
Look at all the pod wankers, as you like to call them.
Pod wankers.
That have got a smoke node. Don't turn it off and just leave it sat in their pocket. And then as soon as it gets pressed, it burns the coil out, and then they end up with hot juice leaking on the leg or some shit like that. There is no device that's 100% safe. It's the actual user that needs to have all the facts to then be safe in their own thinking.
It's still more about education than what an actual item is. You could have the best item in the world. If you don't know what you're doing, it's still unsafe.
Exactly. So it's all about the information that you can give to the end user to then make it as safe as possible, and making sure they understand how to be safe with that item.
I always question this though. I'll always will question it. How do we give information to people who aren't on Facebook, aren't on social media, aren't looking on the internet, aren't going into shops? How is it possible to get that information across to people so they have an understanding if they're not looking for an understanding?
I think personally, maybe put it in the newspapers, just an article somewhere in the newspaper, because people buy newspapers, put a news article or something in there and just put all the safety regulations and what to do and stuff like that. Because people buy papers and read them and stuff like that, or just put it into a notice shop or something like that. Or put it through someone's door leaflet.
But then I'm going to ask you one question, and this may piss people off in chat, and this may piss you guys off. But is that when we need people like the backing of said Philip Morris, who has billions and billions of pounds, to do that?
No.
Who's paying for it then? If we ain't got a big corporation who's got billions and billions of pounds,
no, I get that, right?
I'm not saying it to be like devil advocate, saying this is what I think it should happen. I just say how do we get that info out there without a big corporation who's got the financial backing to do that? Because who's paying for the paper article? Who's paying for the leaflets? Who's paying for the TV ads? You know what I mean? who's doing that? So unless we've got that financial backing, who's going to do it? Because if you find a company who's got enough money and they're willing to do that, it's got to be beneficial to that company. It's not got to be beneficial to everybody, because you start propping up everybody and saying vaping's good, vaping's that. Sales then makes the industry grow. It doesn't just make that one individual who's paid for it. It makes that industry grow. So somebody has to say, right, we're going to take this and we're going to do that, because we've got some sort of backing from the NHS, because the NHS are now, they've put 2 shops in somewhere down south. They put 2 shops in an hospital. So where do we find that medium ground where who's going to pay for it? Who's going to get it out there? How are we going to do it? You know what I mean? Where do we go? So that's my question to you guys. You have to answer it.
Personally, would money and stuff like that, I'd personally do it myself, because I believe in vaping. It has saved my life. I mean, it stopped my dad from smoking after having a heart attack and stuff like that. It made him go on it and stop vaping. So I believe in that. It does help people. I would personally do it out of my own pocket and do it and take it around, because if it can save one of my loved ones' lives, I'd like to do it for somebody else's loved one.
I like that. Pix, what about you? What would you do?
Well, I know it's not the best example, but if you want to get a word out there, you could follow the line of things like people who practice religion. We believe in vaping like people believe in a religion. For example, it doesn't matter what religion it is, they're faithful to that religion like we're faithful to vaping.
Yeah,
The more that you believe in it, the stronger you feel about it, the more that other people will listen to you. Does that make sense? No money
Definitely.
involved as such, not right now. But if we had the backing, it'd work. But if we don't have,
I get you, getting
as
people,
long as-
rounding people up
Yeah,
and getting them to
as long
speak
as
the
you're-
word of it. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to stand on a soapbox in the middle of Elgin. No, but right, if you've got enough people who will listen to you and believe in what you're saying, you're still making an improvement on if they want to vape or not, if they want to keep smoking. It's
that,
kind
yeah.
of one in the same. It's like a faith in a way.
It's like being
Is that-
proactive, isn't it? It's like really being proactive about it.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Greenpeace is another good example. They don't specifically have, well, they might have money, I don't know, but the way they use their beliefs to push how they feel about certain issues, that's how we could push it with vaping, because we believe in it so strongly. We could use how we feel to make that forefront, if you like. I hope that makes sense anyway.
No, 100%. I believe. But if you do go into the middle of town and you do start chirping on a soapbox, Nicky, get your phone out and record it for us, mate. I could do with a laugh.
I just waiting for to just get her on the stage and just let her off.
What about you, Nicky? What would you do if you could do something about it, or what do you feel we could do?
Quite easy. If you literally say to, you can walk down the street, you can see someone, if they're having an issue with it, just take two minutes out of your day to help them with a device if you know what to do. It's just that simple, because that way it'll benefit them, and then it'll snowball, and then they can help someone else if they see someone with that issue and progress it like that, rather than, because for one, if you start paying for adverts and fucking newspaper articles and all this shit, you're going to get stumped with, it's a tobacco product, you can't advertise that.
Yeah.
So you'll be screwed on that one. You can put fucking as much money as you want into it. None of the adverts will be shown. So,
Put it outside of a bus. Or you could buy a bus.
that's classed as a static sign.
Or you could buy a bus. You could put it on a bus and buy it a bus.
If I bought a bus, I'd be driving down. I'd just park in the actual car park and rent it out, fucking £50 a night, job done.
Right. So let's get into another discussion. High-end gear.
Oh, fuck.
This is a debate a lot of people have an opinion on. You know, all of us sat in here have some shinies, but I wouldn't say we're up there with the high-end gear. But what would we class as high-end gear? I'm going to start this with, I class high-end gear anything that is in your pocket that you can afford, as in if it's you buy a vape and it's £1 and it's high end for your pocket, then it's high end. If it's £1,000 and you can afford it in your pocket, then it's high end. What do you guys class as high end? And I'm putting that to chat as well before we go there. What do you class as high end vape gear?
High end is a luxury that you can afford.
It's a luxury item. Is it? You would say it's a luxury item or it's affordable luxury?
Right, smoking and vaping are both luxuries that we chose. You chose to smoke, you chose to vape. So in that aspect, yes, it's a luxury that you can afford.
Yeah, no, I get that.
High end is when you can say, oh, this mod's high end, it's £1 million. This mod's high end, it's £5. At the end of the day, it's what you can afford. It's
what is high end to you?
It's a luxury that you've afforded and you're looking after.
Yeah, I like that. What about you, Pix?
I think high end is whatever you treasure. It's something. It doesn't matter what something costs. If something works for you and it makes you happy, that to me is high end. As silly as that sounds, it doesn't matter what it costs. It costs £5, could cost £300. If it works and it makes you feel better, like vaping, your vaping is a good experience. I think that's enough to be that way.
Is it because from what you guys say is I agree that it's whatever you class as being high end.
Aye.
If a £5 is on the higher scales of things in your pocket, then that is high end.
Pretty much.
Let's have a look. Matthew Weston says anything above £100 to me is high end. Under that is affordable. Dave Fenn says high end would be something I have to start selling my ass for.
He does that weekend anyway.
If I want a mod and it's like 200 something quid, basically put the money away and save up for it, then I would class it as something. It's very high end. It's something I've bought, I like, it's in my pocket, and it's something I've liked, and I feel proud that I've earned the money to buy it. And I feel like with vaping, you've got all the options to go and buy with shiny mods and stuff like
that. Dave says, high end is all the shit I want but can't afford.
No, very Dave, I'm just like that. I'm like that.
No, because I was thinking about it the other day, and obviously, sort of looking it on sort of an affordable market, a lot of high end, what we would have classed as high end gear, is kind of affordable now. You know, our wages haven't gone up. The system, you know what I mean? I feel like the vape gear that's now coming to the market is a lot more high end looking and high end usable without the price tag. So are we classing high end as a value, or are we classing high end as quality? Because I'll always put high end. High end to me is sort of above and beyond. Do you know what I mean? It can be affordable, but the actual mod itself can be quality, but can be affordable. That to me would still be high end because of the product itself. That's what would make it high end. But then you get stuff that's probably not the best made, but they're charging ridiculous price for. So are we putting a currency level on high end, or are we putting a quality high end? And I feel like we're now in the stages of putting a quality over cost, because you can get affordable mods without paying through the fucking roof.
I would say the most expensive mod I ever bought was my Purge 2700 for about 200 quid. I think that was the most high-end mod I ever bought in my life. I would say.
But you worked for it, and you got it, and you know, and then the sort of the moments where, for me personally, in my vaping journey, where I've seen a mod I really, really fucking like, and I want it, and I look at it, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want, and I need to save for it. And if I need to save for it because it's a little bit higher than it's, I'm classing it personally as a high-end item because it's out of my reach.
Yeah.
So I've got to save to get that high-end item.
That is
but then
exactly it.
For it, you feel like I've saved for it, I've got it now, I've worked for it.
It's a bit like last year. I got, I think, the last Purple Dirty on sale, and they let me pay it bit by bit, but the day that came, I screamed like a bitch. I was so happy because that, for me, my Purple Dirty is my high-end mod. And it was like, it's fucking in it. Oh my God. I was proper shaken because I knew where it was from and everything. I was like, oh, but that for me, and I think it was 235 altogether, which isn't the most expensive, but she was still expensive for me. For me, that's high end.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's that feeling of that moment when you've got that, no matter what it is, it could cost 10p, it cost 100 quid.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like that. That for me is what high end is.
Yeah. I keep saying here, like, stabilized wood, I find are most expensive, but stabilized wood has been brought into the market by people like Asmodus and made affordable.
Oh,
I've never had one personally.
And then, but then to the people that are owning these mods that are reasonably priced, maybe not affordable or maybe reasonably priced, are of the look and the luxury of as what we would class as a high-end mod.
I do really. If I want a high-end mod, sometimes I trade some. Sometimes I just go buy one. But I mean, I have got my one mod I want to get now, and that's like nearly £300 something. It just means I've got to pull in a couple of weekends, stay late at work. If I want it, I've got to save up for it. It's simple as that.
Yeah, exactly.
Save up for it, and I can probably have it in a couple of weeks. And then when it's here, I'll probably be screaming like a bitch like Pixie said a minute ago. I'll be running around the house.
Right, let's have a little bit of fun. I'm going to start a sentence, and you guys have got to finish it. This is once again going out to chat if you want to answer this as well. So I'm going to start a sentence. You have to finish it. You know you're a vapor when, Pixie. So the start of the sentence is, you know you're a vapor when, and then you have to finish the sentence. Do you would like me to do mine?
Yeah, go on.
You know you're a vapor when you press your phone 5 times to turn it off.
You know you're a vapor when you sneeze and vape comes out your nose.
Vicky, you know you're a vapor when?
When you've got more batteries in your pocket than you do in your remote.
Greg?
You know you're a vapor when you get a dirty dry hit.
Oh.
You know you're a vapor when your bank's empty, says Dave.
You know you're a vapor when you run out of juice.
You know you're a vapor when your handset looks like Blackpool Illuminations.
You know you're a vapor when there's more money in your PayPal than your bank.
Oh.
That's what Keith said that.
You know you're a vapor when you've got a hoarding collection.
You know, and then you know you're a vapor when you only got a £5 and you buy juice.
Oh.
That's from Matt Weston. Neil Miller says, you know you're a vapor when you spend more time cleaning your mods than talking to your missus.
I like that one.
Ross says, you know you're a vapor when you have a blocked nose and prove it by exhaling through your nose. Has there anyone? I watched. There's a guy recently in I think he's in the Netherlands or something like that, and he must constantly have a fucking blocked nose because every time he does a video and he vapes out his nose, it just fucking comes out of one fucking nostril.
Oh, there's another one.
you know you're a vapor when the Dyson Power Pack is not safe.
You know you're a vapor when you know you smoke.
You know you're a vapor when you go out on Halloween and everyone thinks you're in Ghostbusters.
That is Neil Pugsley all over that.
Oh God, yeah.
You know you're a vapor when you open the door and you expect Matthew Kelly behind it.
That's you. That's you in your kitchen, Matt. That's you. You know you're a vapor when your weekly shopping list includes Brasso. Brasso and microfibers. You know you're a vapor when your work bag has more vape stuff in than food. That definitely is not the case with you, Mr. Pickering.
I'll tell you now, on that one.
Love you, mate.
I have 5 bottles of juice, probably 6 sets of batteries, and about 3 mods in it.
You know you're a vapor when there's a sock over your fire alarm.
Oh. Okay, you're fucking-
We can all put our hands up to doing that in fucking hotel rooms.
You know you're a vape when you've kissed the coils.
Who's kissed the coil out of all of us? Have we all kissed the coil?
Yeah.
Yep.
I did it on here, didn't I? I did it on here before we went live last week.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, because you lot laughed because I went to put it on a blister there.
I've never kissed the coil, but I had. It was, I think it was about 3 years ago. We all know Chris JB.
Yeah.
Chris JB. I think it might have been one of the first expos. I was stood talking to him, and I had my arm around him, and I've still got the scar to this day. And because he's a twat, he pulled the top off his fucking RDA, fired it, and went straight into the top of my fucking hand. So I've never kissed a coil, but I've had a coil kiss my fucking hand.
You know you're a vape when you drop your mod.
It's true. You know you're a vapor when people worry your car's on fire.
You
We've
know
all
you're a
done that,
vape
all.
when people stand there going like that.
You know you're a vapor when everybody, it sounds like the doctor's surgery when you're walking down the street.
You know
This
you
is-
wake up in the morning and you take that first hit.
Yeah. We all like that first hit. You know, fuck off, Dave. Dave says, you know you're a vapor when your face is on the expo ticket. Cheers, Dave.
Oh.
Love you too,
Oh,
mate. Wasn't my choice.
Or you know you're a vapor when you can win a free expo ticket with your ass.
Yeah, true. That is true. That is very, very true. Right. So before we go on, because I'm going to do a little bit of random questioning in a bit before we go on to anything else, but I've got a question that I've seen recently, but I want to know what you guys' opinions are. We know that there's been a lot of mesh RDAs hitting the market recently. Whether it's, I didn't even finish my fucking question and he's answering me. Is mesh the new craze, or are we always going to go back to normal wire?
No.
And we'll start with Craig. We'll start with Craig. Craig, have you had a mesh RDA?
I hate mesh. I had a mesh RDA, Vandy vape. I hated it. When you got to dry it off, it was horrible. I think they're shit.
Oh.
So people can hate me for it and everything like that, but I just hate mesh RDAs, mesh tanks. I think they're shit.
Nicky, have you tried a mesh RDA?
Yeah.
And what's your opinion?
To be fair, it's one of them, it's personal preference again. The mesh is one of them. If you get on with it, great. But I personally didn't get on with it. And the RTAs are just as shit. Because unless you wick them perfect, it's just going to fucking dry hit.
Yeah, or catch fire.
Yeah, and the RDAs, I noticed when I had one, the juice well was shockingly shit. You couldn't even fit a penny inside it.
Did you ever try the Vandy vape mesh RDA?
That's what he's on about.
Yeah, that's one I had. Someone said to me, "Oh, it's really good. It's really good." No, I didn't like it. It put me off.
If you got the mesh right and the wicking spot on, you did get decent flavour from it.
In what juice? Because I've always known mesh as being, because I've never tried a mesh RDA. I've never ever tried a mesh RDA. I've always known mesh to be really good with citrus flavours, fruity flavours, rather than like your custards.
That's what I was vaping at the time. I think I was vaping Twister Ice Lolly.
It was all fruity flavours. Everyone in chat saying fuck mesh, shite.
In stock tanks seem to last better, perform better, and you get flavour on them for fucking.
What? So you're saying rather than rebuildable mesh, you're saying stock coil mesh?
Yeah, because it's literally wrapped all the way around. It's not just in the middle. So it's heating it all up evenly rather than just, if you squish your mesh in your RDA, you're going to get that one hot spot.
Yep.
But
a lot of coils are coming out as mesh though, aren't there? A lot of stock coils.
exactly. because it seems to work and perform amazing in a stock tank.
Do you not think it's because you two are shit at wicking? I'm kidding.
When do I use a stock tank?
I'm kidding. I'm on about. No, because obviously a lot.
Fuck mesh. Hashtag fuck mesh.
Well, Mr. Neil Wesley Spencer, good evening, Wes, says mesh belongs in stock coils.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly.
I
But
don't personally have that much experience with mesh on a RDA though. So
the RDA I found using standard coils was far better in it than the mesh.
Did it last longer?
Yeah, I found it last longer because it's more spread out, and you don't get as much build up on the actual mesh as you would like a normal wire set up in the middle of a stock coil.
Because obviously with the burnout of the wire and stuff.
Aye.
There's a lot cleaner.
And I think the burnout of the wire is actually more even to the cotton as well.
No, I go spool of wire all day. Nah, fuck mesh.
Even though I've not had much experience with mesh RDAs, I do tend to look at how dirty or clean my coils are when I change them if I use a stock tank. And I do find that the colouring is much more even as they're burning out.
Yeah.
With the mesh.
So do you think the mesh is the way forward for stock coils rather than
Definitely.
RDAs?
I think it's a much better idea, yeah. For the way it's compact and built in, and the way it's actually put together inside the stock coil, I think it's a much better option to have it soak through like that as well.
Dave says mesh is good as a wick. Has anybody used mesh as a wick?
Can't say I have.
I used it in an old Genesis style tank.
Dave can show us.
I used it in an old style Genesis tank. We used to use stainless steel rotor as a wick, and we used to use mesh as a wick as well. But it's obviously non-conductive stainless steel rope. Because what you had to do is you had to wrap your coil around the fucking rope. Some old school shit.
I've seen it done, but I've never tried it.
At least we're on the same path of saying that stock coils is the way forward. Yeah, back in the 80s. Back in the 80s. Can't knock that, can you? So we've come to conclusion tonight so far. Trump started a shitstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's a cunt, yeah.
Trump's a cunt. Oh, Tasha just brought some up. Tom talking old school like cotton from boots. When anybody started, did anybody use cotton from boots?
The cotton balls.
No.
The cotton balls.
People do it, but I never tried it.
Yeah, I used to rob cotton balls that he shed in the bathroom.
He did. He did.
No, I do it, but I never.
Sorry, Craig. Say that again.
I heard people used to do it, but I never tried it.
That was the only option back in the day. That was literally the only, but you had to get the non-bleached.
The non-bleached ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have to try it.
Like the baby cotton ones.
You can don't get me wrong. If you're scrimping, like literally scrimping, it's okay to use, but you can tell the difference between cotton that's. I wouldn't say it's made for vaping, but it's a better cotton than obviously the cotton you use to wipe babies' asses. But it still can be used, but it does taste a bit. Talking at old school. What's he saying? Boil them up in a pan. Yeah, used to boil the cotton in a pan. I remember that. Fuck.
What, to straighten it out and puff it out of it?
Like literally boiling, putting it in a pan to boil it out, and then straighten it out to fucking let it dry off. Fucking hell. Now that is going back like 5-6 years, that fucking doing that. And then like old school, like also who's been into Boots and bought VG from Boots and asked on Facebook if it's safe to use.
Can't say I have.
There used to be at least one post a week on Facebook saying, I've bought this bottle from Boots. It's vegetable glycerine. Is it all right to vape?
I'd rather that though than the people who ask if they can use the Tampax as cotton.
Oh, that's bombed.
Have you never seen it?
No.
Have you never seen it, Craig? Honestly,
No.
these people exist. They're
I've
worse than
seen
you.
it. I've seen it.
I'll
I've
do a
seen
bit
it.
Go and put a tampon in it for you, Craig.
I've seen it. It exists. It really does fucking exist. People have asked that. People have asked that in the past. They really have asked that in the past.
And then you get that one person that asks if you can use a tampon, can you use a sanitary towel or a panty liner? And I'm like, just don't exist. Please just stop existing. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh,
they say yeah, as long as you can use and rinsed off afterward beforehand.
if you are disgusting. If it is,
when you answer someone asks for a used one.
Now we're talking old school. And if you guys, obviously, you've been vaping a while, but is there anything, it may be not old school to a few of us in chat, but anyways, is there anything you can, I just saw Dave Fenn's comment about what Nikki just said, and it's just, yeah. Is there anything you remember as when you first started vaping that's a memory that stuck with you? Is there anything like we said about obviously vegetable glycerine being used from Boots, cotton from cotton pads or whatever, or you know what I mean? Is there anything that you guys remember of when you first started that's always stuck with you as a memory?
Yeah, forgetting to screw my tank on my mod.
What? In what way?
Got it out and the fucking thing ain't fucking working. Didn't actually realise I didn't put the tank on. Going like, fucking it, well, you dickhead, you put the tank on. I felt like fucking stood there. Twat.
Craig tried to vape a fucking mod without it. Sat there pressing fire button. There's no fucking, there's no eye on this. There's no eye.
My fucking mum's kitchen. Mum goes, tank it out, you fucking idiot. Oh, fuck. Fucking felt like a right twat.
What about you, Nicky? Is there that you remember, mate?
The whole ceremony of going into the vape shop and spending 20 minutes talking shit to the guy behind the counter about what's new, and then having.
Did you ever find? Were you one of them people that went into the shop and always said, "What's new"?
Yeah.
One of them people. What's new? What's new? You walk straight into the vape shop after you've been in 2 days earlier. What's new?
Back then, there's always something new dropping.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? This is the thing for me because obviously I've done a fair few years in shops, and the thing for me is when people used to walk in and say, "Is there out new?" I'd say, "Have you tried every single juice that's in here?" And they'd go, "No." I'd go, "Well, that's new. That's new. That's new. That's new." It was a pet peeve of mine to get somebody walking in who's literally been in fucking yesterday and saying, "What's new? Have you bought everything that's on the shelf?" Well, they're all fucking new.
The thing is, the vape shops that I was at the time, the vape shop, I could only vape certain flavors because a lot of it had nut concentrates in. So back then it was kind of fucked. It's like, what's new that I can vape that's not got
That's
nut
true.
concentration?
That's true.
Whereas nowadays you go into a shop and it's like, what's new? It's like, we've got this new pod system.
What about you, Pix? Have you got all that you remember doing or saying?
I don't know. Because where we live, there's still a lot of things that we have that other people you just don't see them with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because it's a very small place far up in Scotland. It's like a few weeks ago I was out and I had my dirtier and it was stacked and someone said, "That's a big massive gold cigarette," and I nearly cracked them with it, not gonna lie. I was like, "This looked like a fucking cigarette." I am not nice when people say the wrong thing about something, and I tried so hard, but if they're gonna insult it by calling it a cigarette, then that is just means for insult, really. But I don't miss it as such, but it happens a bit less now than it did a while ago. I don't get as many insults. Maybe that's what it is.
Tasha's come up with a really good one, and I actually still do this to this day.
Well,
wick your stock coils by dropping a few drops of e-liquid in the top of your coil.
Oh,
and
we
I
still do that.
I still do that to the day.
He
Yeah.
doesn't use them, but I use stock tanks when I got to take the dog for a walk. So I use it like once or twice a day. And I always do the ring at the top, and I do the holes at each side of the coil, and then I put it in, and then I do it like that.
That's a banger. I still do that.
Yeah, definitely still do all that.
I never used to do that. I just used to put the e-liquid and just leave it to settle.
Which you can do, do, but us vapors are very impatient, and we want a vape as soon as we fucking got it. Like, yeah, we can't wait to take a fucking hit on this.
You know what else I mean? Going into a shop and buying fucking bottles with nicking already that's not a fucking 10 mil.
Is that what you miss?
Yeah.
I think you miss that. It's such a ball, like fucking you get charged. Well, up here you get charged £25 for a Dr. Frost short fill, 120 mil, right? And then you've got another £5 to add the 2 nick shots. So it's £30 for a fucking 120 mil Dr. Frost.
So you're playing London prices.
Exactly. You go in, you spend £30, you get fucking 90 mil with nick already in it. So you've not got to piss about.
Or the worst one when you go into a shop, you go, I'm not going to buy anything, and you go out with about 150 quid's worth of stuff. And you look at the
know.
Fuck.
The thing is, me and Pixie will go into our local vape shops, and we'll have newer stuff than them, and we'll be telling them if it's any good before they even fucking hear about getting it.
Fucking hell.
That is legitimately
That's crazy to know that this day and age, but then you get people that are in sort of your areas that it doesn't appeal. Do you know what I mean? This sort of the hobby style of it doesn't appeal to people, so they literally just go in for coils and cotton, and that's them done.
No, I mean like stock tanks and stuff like that.
They're not in.
It's like we recently got the Geek Vape Biden, and they didn't even know it was a new product by Geek Vape.
See, I'm terrible for going in the shop. I'm terrible when I go in shops because I make them get everything out. Yeah, I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what that tries like. Yeah, go and get that. I want to see that juice, what it's like. They must hate me in there. They think, fuck me.
You're one of them cunts, aren't you? You're one of them cunts.
He does that and then walks out and goes to the shop down the road.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I don't miss.
Shops a cunt and didn't have the cotton he wanted that he went in for.
I tell you what, I don't miss, and Dave just mentioned it. Glass dropper bottles.
Oh, I've still got some.
I do not miss glass dropper bottles.
I've still got some.
Oh, I do not miss them at all. Juice in your 510. Remember when we all had that leaky tank and I get fucking juice in your 510?
Yep.
You never really get that these days, do you really? Even like a condensation from it or anything like that.
Because all mods are waterproof now, Tom.
Right, that's what fucked my first mod. That's what fucked my first mod. I had a leak in the 510, got in the circuit board, and it fucked it. And I went back to the shop because I only had it 3 weeks. And they said it wasn't our fault, it's the manufacturer's fault. I had to contact the manufacturer. And they did send me a new one out, fair enough. But it was a big fucking piss about because it was Wismec, it was a Predator. But then that one, right, that one stopped working within 3 days. And his mate opened it up because I couldn't be asked pissing about. And I'd bought another thing by then. And what it was is something in the circuit board was actually connected. It was nothing to do with what I'd done to it. It
what,
was
the juice?
Mod. No, I'd not even, like, that's the thing.
No,
Nothing had gone in it.
It on properly.
Oh, the wires inside, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the exact same one they'd sent me out to replace the one that had got fucked from the juice going under the 510. I was like, fuck's sake. I'm like,
oh, you know.
You know.
I remember saying, look at the amount of vapor that comes off that. There's no need for all of that. I'll stick with my little pen, says Neil Miller.
Tell you what. Tell you what I do miss. I do miss being one of very few people sat there or stood there with my like TFB8 Cloud Beast go, and now it's like that doesn't even look like anything if I use it now. And there's not many people that do it. It's not as annoying as it used to.
I'm at a time of a place, me, where vaping to an extent where there's clouds. There's a time and a place for it for me.
Yeah, but when I started, I didn't know.
I'm proper sensitive, like where I vape. Honestly, I am. I used to be reckless and not give two shits, and I just vote for fucking clouds for the fun of it. And so I've sort of in the mindset now where I'm kind of chilled with it, where as long as I'm getting my hit and I'm getting my flavour, if I'm blowing a massive cloud, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy blowing a massive cloud, but I'm very conscious of where I'm doing it. And that's what.
But we are now.
Yeah, anyway, I don't give a shit.
I know you fucking don't. You're one of them cunts. I've already told you tonight.
If you're standing there, you're going to get a face full of it. If you don't like it, move. Simple.
Like we've discussed before, I stopped smoking on subhoming, not mouth to lung. And one of the attractions when I stopped smoking of subhoming was those clouds. I'm not going to lie, and I think it still works that way.
Oh no, 100% picks. 100% picks. You go to bed tonight, turn all the lights off, get your vape, and have a vape, and it is very, very not satisfactory than seeing the cloud come off your vape, seeing the vape coming off.
It is.
I feel that's a massive part of it.
I like it. I like it on a cold morning when you're outside and you blow a massive cloud and it just stays there in the cold.
Lingers. Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking. I think I've still got a picture somewhere. I'll have to try and find it. When I was at work, I had a little. Can't remember what it was, but I did it at work. It just smoked the whole shelter out, and I thought, "Fuck." I mean, I'm going to get in trouble for that.
I also want to let you know as well. Neil Pugsley says he'll ban you from his shop if you come in and open all his shit.
Well, then.
Kanga Tech always used to leak. Some of them did.
Kanga Tech.
Some of them used to do. I can't deny that. I've still got some sealed pre-TPD bottles about in the studio. I honestly hate fucking glass stripper bottles. I hate them with a fucking passion.
Right, so anyone that's got a bottling manufacturer on their fucking friends list, send them a link saying Thomas would like to buy some glass stripper bottles. Let them have the fuck out of them.
I think the one I hate is when you drop your e-liquid on the floor and it just explodes everywhere. I dropped a bottle, run it over the forklift, and so no light, went everywhere. When it smelled the warehouse, smelled of lemon all night.
Why did you run over with a forklift?
I went to go around the corner, it fell off, didn't even know, run it over. Fuck.
Zip your pocket up, you daft cunt.
You are?
Zip your pocket up.
No, it was on the truck. I left it in the cup holder on the
Or in your man bag.
It was just fucking lemon all night. It was quite a good smell.
Dave says, I must be a right cunt as I took my stack to a funeral.
As long as it wasn't a cremation, then it's all good.
Oh, fucking hell. Some companies still use glass dropper bottles. Fuck me.
I think I've got it.
Bad Drip still do it.
Yeah, they do, because I've got one.
I think I've got one.
I fucking despise them. I'm not even gonna lie. I really despise them. I really don't like them.
I think I've got one in there somewhere.
I think there's a time and a place. You are right, Shaka. I've said this before. There is a time and a place to it, and I absolutely. Do you know what one thing I absolutely love about Expo as well is you can vape your heart consent and nobody will say fuck all.
It is nice because it's like a whole 3 days where you can just go, you know what? Who cares? You can do it there, you can do it there, you can do it upside down, you can do it hanging off a bar. Nobody gives a shit.
Unless you do it in the walkway.
I'm looking forward to getting searched.
Don't do it in the walkways.
Nope.
Yeah, you can't do it outside the hall, can you?
No.
Which I don't have an issue with because obviously there is people that aren't going to the vape event. So I 100% agree with it, and I think there is a time and a place.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, people are probably going to go down there and enjoy their day shopping. I don't think they really want to see a cloud of smoke going all the way down the shopping centre.
Yeah, but I love.
If everyone was vaping, and then some cunt opens the door, someone's going to put phone in a terrorist fact.
Craig, the NEC is an exhibition centre. It's not a shopping centre.
It looks like a shopping.
I'm just saying.
It's a shopping centre. May and October.
Oh.
Yeah, that's I like that. I do like that. It is a shopping centre in May and October, and then obviously I don't know where in London it's going to be the expo, but
Olympic Hotel, I think it is.
That's it. That's it.
I read the post.
Olympia.
I am quite looking forward to one in London, so I'm quite looking forward to that.
You can be our spokesperson for London. You can go and investigate. You can go represent yo.
Dave has put in there, Tom, my question better be on that list. He didn't. I'd like to let you know, Dave didn't. Has anybody got on the has Amazon Alexa anywhere near them or anything like that?
No.
I have,
No.
so that's why I'm keeping my mouth stum. But Dave wanted me to ask her to play Baby Shark, and because you don't have it, there's no point me asking it. I do.
Play Baby Shark.
I've got
Which
headphones
Dave?
in your wallet. I've got headphones in your wallet.
Which Dave was it?
The vape man. The vape man.
Oh, all right, that's okay then.
That's what he wanted me to do.
Time this week.
So I'm going to get into some questions now. We're nearly at the end of the show. We've got like 20 minutes left. And I thought we could do some funny questions. So I came up with a list earlier of funny questions we can ask. And you've got to answer them as serious as possible, whether how stupid they are or not. You've got to answer them as serious as possible, right? So the first question is a hot dog a sandwich? Why or why not? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Why or why not? Come on.
No, not because it's made up of shit.
Craig, is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes or no?
It is if you use it correctly.
Fuck.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? We are on episode 69 and all.
It is if you put the hot dog in the right place.
I like that one, Pixie. I do like that one.
I do have a funny story about a frozen hot dog, but that's for a different.
Don't you dare tell them that story. It's not about me. Everyone thinks I know exactly who it's about, and it no.
We're not. No, we won't talk about that. I asked you if it was a sandwich. I asked you if it was a sandwich. If it was a sandwich or not. So yeah. Right. The next question is: what conspiracy would you like to start? If you could start a conspiracy, what would you start? Pixie, I'm gonna start with you.
No, because it's like the day of, and it's already a conspiracy. So no.
No. If you could start a conspiracy, what conspiracy would you start?
I'm not sure really. Never really thought about it.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Nikki's like that. What can I think of? Yeah, Craig.
Who my dad is?
What?
Go on. Let Craig go.
Who my dad is?
Who your dad is? What about you, Nikki? What conspiracy would you start? If you could start a conspiracy, what would you start? Nikki?
I'm thinking.
Are you thinking as well?
I would start the conspiracy. Does Tupac work as security in Manchester Roundale? There you go. No word of a lie, right? There used to be this bloke every weekend, especially in the morning, and he looked just like him, but a bit darker.
Tupac is in Cuba.
Like,
Tupac is in Cuba.
Yeah, exactly. Totally is. I think like
Trump. Dave's going to start a conspiracy that Trump is secretly Freddie Mercury.
Surely, Dave, that's like the Mexicans that are Freddie Mercury.
Right, the next question is: how many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
One. If you froze it and shot it out of a fucking cannon.
Depends how many eggs you can shove up its ass before it explodes.
Craig, how many chickens, mate?
Craig's just thinking of an elephant being a chicken mother.
was just thinking, I'd say 2.
Why 2?
Why 2?
Yeah.
Don't know. Come in my head. 2. Because my boss has got chicken, so fuck it. He's got 2, so 2.
Boss is chicken. That's a bit wrong.
He's got 2 chickens at work, so I bet 2.
Right, here's one for you. If peanut butter wasn't called peanut butter, what would it be called?
Shit in a
spread.
jar.
Nut spread.
You got to answer it as seriously as possible, not shit spread.
No, I said nut spread.
Not you, him.
It's shit in a jar. It looks like shit.
I can't really answer because I don't like peanut butter.
I know. Anaphylactic shock surprise.
Yeah, that's Nikki, that.
Yeah.
What did you call it, though? What did you call it, Pix?
Oh, anaphylactic shock surprise.
No, but before that, the first one.
Nut spread.
Nut
Just
spread.
Nut spread.
Peanut squashy, someone said. Dave Fed said 2 chickens. Charlie said 2 chickens. Peanut squashy. Peanut squashy. Everyone's agreeing with you, 2 chickens.
If you get the peanut butter from like Marks and Spencer's, it could be called like almond slipper.
Right, you ready?
Almond slipper.
What would be the coolest animal to scale up to the size of a horse?
Lion.
My cat Muffin, who's behind me somewhere.
A cat the size of a fucking horse.
She's like this big.
The cat.
There you go. That's my cat.
What? Is that what you're saying, Nikki? The cat's going to be the same size as a horse?
No.
What would the coolest animal be to scale up to the size of a horse?
Lion.
A horse is already done then. That way you can just go to the pub quicker.
Yeah, but it's the size of a horse, isn't it?
Does it have to be a real animal?
A horse
No,
it's already scaled up to itself, so then can go to the pub. Job done.
Yeah, but like Dave said, a pigeon.
No,
Don't get me started on pigeons. Pigeons are great.
A duck the size of a fucking horse.
Does it have to be like? Can it be any animal in the world? Does it have to physically? Does it have to be physically existing, or can it be a made-up animal?
No, it has to be existing. We can't just magically turn a unicorn the size of a fucking horse. A duck, definitely a duck, a bright yellow fucking duck the size of a horse would be fucking cool.
Isn't that Big Bird?
That's not Big Bird. Big Bird's not a duck. Big Bird is a made-up creature.
You know what? I've got somewhere in the cupboard. I've got a puppet of Ed the duck. So next time, right? Got the yellow duck.
We're gonna scale him up.
Yeah.
Dave said, "Imagine the bird shit in Blackpool if a fucking pigeon was the size of a fucking horse."
No more donkey rides for you.
Fucking hell. My 2 pugs. Imagine a pug.
Pugs are
being
fucking
the size.
ugly small, let alone when they're big. They look like they've been rammed over by a fucking backing up truck.
Oh my fucking god. Let me get another question. I can't believe duck. Neil Pugsley said a snake, by the way. A snake.
That's because Neil Pugsley's a sex pest.
A snake.
He's just thinking of his big trouser snake. That's all it is.
Right, come on, next question. There's got to be another.
I'm trying to find a good one. I don't want If life was a video game, what would some of the cheat codes be?
What?
Like the actual codes, like
If life, you could not them type of codes, like cheat codes, as in if you could like fly maybe, or unlimited money, or what if your life was a video game and you could choose the cheat codes, what would your cheat codes be?
What platform are we playing on?
Any platform.
Don't say any platform.
We're
because
playing real life. We're playing real life. If real
Yes.
life
How
was a
would you-
video game,
How would you input the cheat codes?
if you don't, you just turn your cheat codes on.
Oh, that's easy then.
That's just shit, then, isn't it?
Why?
No, that's easy. My cheat code would be to be able to throw Pokeballs at any fucker I wanted, so I can put them in the bin. I've got Pokeballs. Don't laugh. This might happen, right? No, I wouldn't.
Adam said infinity. Infinity cheat codes. Can't have an infinity cheat codes.
That's kind of like the Infinity Wish thing, isn't it?
The best cheat code ever is plastic McDonald's straws. So that's all you need.
Mine would be, my cheat code would be respawn. My cheat code in real life would be respawn.
No, plastic McDonald's straws.
Respawn. What about you, Craig? What would yours be, your cheat code, mate? What would you could anything in real life, what would your cheat code be?
No,
Come on, one thing. Come on, one thing. Think on this. Can do one thing, so you can have unlimited money. You can have respawning. You can have
to be the better looking twin.
To be the better looking twin. Oh my god!
Serious one. Bring my dad's mum back because she died when he was 12. So bring her back for him if I could.
I like respawn. I like that.
Yeah, but so she died when he was 12. So do that for him if I could.
Right. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. We need to do status of the week. He's not here, but we'll still do status of the week. I think my status of the week of trying to get Paul's into the House of Commons was pretty cool.
It was hilarious. I love the editing.
Listen, it was meant to be funny. It was meant to be proper fun. It was meant to be squared.
Going on that note, right? Do you know it is illegal to walk into the House of Commons in a suit of armour? You can get beheaded for it.
I want to see someone in a tracksuit. That's all I want to see. Someone in the House of Commons in a tracksuit.
I'll do it.
So status of the week is a good one, which is whichever cunt robbed my shoes from outside the bouncy castle needs to grow the fuck up.
He's had a couple of crackers this week, though, hasn't he?
He has. He put one up 11 minutes ago, but I'll read that probably later. He's talking about big tobacco and stuff. But yeah, we'll come to the end of the show. Finish a little bit earlier than normal. It's hot, it's sweaty. I'm fucking tired. So, guys, thank you ever so much for joining us this week. Pixie, Craig, and Mr. Shady Vaping over there, Nikki. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, these last couple of weeks has been amazing. Really do appreciate you joining us. We'll be back next week, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. And we'll see you all soon. Take it easy.
Bye.
Peace out.
Bye.